Arrow through me. Welcome to our band show.
Yay!
Hey, thanks.
Of course. So cool. What an amazing showcase we've had tonight. So many different styles of music, but now we get to talk about one that's near and dear to my heart. I hadn't told you guys this, but I used to tour for quite some time in a punk rock band, much like the style you guys are doing. So you're really taking me back. But like I said, adding a lot of new to the genre. For example, the lead guitar parts, the way that your vocal phrasing, so much. So let's just start there. Pat, we'll bring you in a few seconds, but I'm just dying to know, what is your approach to your sound?
For me personally, I have my repertoire of lyrics, and occasionally we just try to get together. We'll have a couple hours and we just try to write. And I think that's just the best process, especially with Day. Sometimes he'll come in with like these crazy chord progressions, and Mikey will also come in with like maybe some leads and like vice versa. And it's just a really good mix. And Aaron and Anthony, you know, the rhythm section,
down
bring
the
it
rhythm.
down. Yeah.
So it's a very collaborative process.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay. Very cool. And, you know, I get like, we were talking before you guys went live. Paramore, you said, is a big influence, right, Grace?
Yes.
But then I also kind of get some of that like Story of the Year or Hands Like Houses vibes. You know, that alt rock that it was heavy, but it was singing.
Yeah.
You know, they never really took that next step to scream, but they kind of didn't have to because it was still really heavy. Mm-hmm. And I kind of get that from you guys. What are the influences that maybe come together to bring that out in what I'm feeling and hearing?
I think a lot of it comes from me and Dayron growing up on opposite sides of emo, because we both like the same genres, but not really all of the same bands. And when we and Dayron have been playing music together, actually like almost for a decade now, and we always are trying to write stuff that's like, if we heard this in high school, we would go, woo! So that's kind of our approach. And because we have similar genres but different influences, I think we're able to write a lot of really unique sounding stuff that blends in ways that are maybe kind of different, you know, that make us stand out. Because, you know, rock and when you're in a genre like that, a lot of stuff is going to start sounding the same. So I think we try our best to kind of put our own flavor on everything.
Yeah, really cool. Pat, were you an emo kid?
Emo is not my scene. I actually definitely dived a little deep into 90s hip hop. So if you can imagine, a lot of Wu-Tang Clan and Nas and the likes. So
well, then that's interesting, Pat. As an outsider to the genre, but someone doing the banjo, we've had some punk rock bands and alt bands in the studio. What's your take on this sound as someone who I would say has been introduced to it not too long ago?
Yeah, I'll say that's maybe not necessarily diving deep into the genre. Gives me an opportunity to, on this show, listen to great bands and really discover the diversity of sound that the genre has. And, maybe to that point, Arrow through me, maybe you can talk about what you love about being in this genre and, carving your niche in it.
I mean, for me personally, there's no better feeling than being with like-minded individuals and being able to have that gel moment happening and being able to write something that's really speaks from in here. And it's also just, it's everything to me. And I know it's everything to these guys too. I don't know. I don't have any other words. It's one of those things that's almost like impossible to describe kind of how it feels personally.
So
I like watching people slam into each other in the audience.
That too.
The energy, yeah. I bet you guys have a wild live show.
Yeah, we're wild.
But in all seriousness, I was going to ask Grace. As a songwriter myself, I know there's no like one way a song starts. But how often, because I'm listening to your lyrics and I'm hearing a lot of deep subject matter, feels like there's a lot of self-reflection, a lot of maybe working through things. How do you decide what emotions to put into your music?
I don't know. I tend to, at least lyrically, mainly just write poetry all the time. Sometimes I'll even just be at work, have a sticky note, and I think of something. I'm like, oh, this is how I'm feeling in the moment. Let me write that down. Usually it's just a culmination of sometimes just like little sentences and phrases that I'm able to later on kind of just piece together. And sometimes most of the songs are just like well thought out, cohesive one thing. But sometimes I'll just paste bits and pieces of similar stories to make one cohesive story, and kind of just use what fits mostly. At least that's how it's done, lyrically. Yeah.
Really cool. And then you bring it to the rest of the band, and you guys kind of find the musical backbone to that theme.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like it flip flops sometimes too, but yeah.
Okay. What do you mean by flip flops?
Sometimes they'll bring me a piece of music that hits me here as well, and I'm able to write something to it. So sometimes it works out like that.
That's cool. Kind of like how we do things, Pat. Very collaborative, very free flowing, creative, shared visions.
Yeah, for sure. It's we have a lot of creative people, and when you meet a network of them and you're able to sort of get on the same wavelength, it's nothing short of amazing. In terms of your just recording your music and that process, is this kind of a at-home DIY type of process, or are you going into the studio? How do you approach that?
It was actually all recorded. Our last EP was recording in my dining room, and we sent it out to get mixed.
Wow. Did you have did you draw the curtains? Was there any glass in the room? Because it sounds really good. I'm just wondering how you recorded such high fidelity in a dining room.
Closet.
The shoe closet.
Yeah, Grace recorded vocals actually in a shoe closet, but
Okay.
a lot of good stems, and our guy who does our mixing and mastering is amazing.
Yeah, shout out Jake Mannix.
Shout out Mannix.
Yeah.
Yeah, clearly. Wow. See, look at that. We had a silly moment and it just brought out this amazing conversation. But enough talking. You guys are so good. We got to get back to the tunes. So, Pat, any final questions for Arrow Through Me before we let them do what they do best here and rock out?
Yeah. So why don't you just talk about your debut album and, just, I don't know, just give us a little bit of the story behind, the creativity that went into it.
It was a really long process, if I'm being honest. Very long process. I think it took us all together probably about, 2 years, really, to get it completely finished, like from beginning to end. I know we had a couple rewrites on some songs, both lyrically, musically. We put some things aside and save it for future things. I think the biggest thing for us when putting together the EP was just structure how we wanted the songs to go and in what order. To me personally, I felt like it was a little bit more almost like experimental. Like, do we have our set sound yet? Like, what are we, you know what I mean, looking to do? And I think funnily enough, even though they're all just maybe a little bit different, each song on the EP, it's cohesive, it flows together, and I think it shows like a little bit of each of us.
Yeah, as a fan and an audience member, I think you hit the mark. So let's get back into these great tunes. This next one is a powerful one called Morning After by Arrow Through Me.